Hello. If you are currently suffering from Piriformis Syndrome, then trust me, I know exactly how it feels. I've been through. And that was the reason in 2014 I uploaded my very first video of this channel sharing my Piriformis Syndrome stretch, which relieved me out of the misery. I have received so many positive responses and questions. Wow. Very much to my delight. The reason of my making this new updated video is, after 9 years, my exercise is still unique, and I wish to let more people who are suffering from this particular problem give it a try. But my 2014 videos were so crudely made that it's almost unfair to ask the audience in 2023 to watch it. Today, at first, I'd like to demonstrate what I do now. It's more straightforward and even less time required. Secondly, over the years, I have received many questions from the viewers. I will summarize them up and provide the answers. And third, I will provide some tips for the exercise and especially out of the exercise. Okay, let's cut the chase. Let me show you what I do now. The exercise has two parts. Part 1. Keep your feet apart as wide as your shoulders. Relax your shoulders and arms. Bend down as if you want to touch the ground, feeling the weight of your upper body. No force added. You don't need to bend as low as I'm doing. You should feel zero discomfort. If my problem is in this side of my hips, I will turn to the opposite side. I keep my hand on my head is to remind myself to keep the tightness of an imaginary nerve cord from the heel all the way up to the neck. If this is where you can reach, no problem at all. Just turn to the opposite side all the same. Find your lowest point. Feeling the tension or the tightness of this side. And then from your balance point, adding some minor motions of stretching. An important point. The center of your weight must be placed on your behind leg because the aim of the exercise is to tighten the muscle on your behind leg from heel to the waist. If you feel there is more tension in your front leg, you should bend the front knee a little to transfer the tension to the behind leg. Then we do 40 times of these mini stretches. For the goodness of yourself, 40 is the minimum. Then add another 10 for me. Repeat. Your attention should be focused on the problem area. Use your imagination. Imagine in that area something like a knot or entanglement is dislodged, just like a door is being opened. Okay, this is 50. You see, it can be quick. As to myself, quite often I counted to 60, 70, 80s, and sometimes I forgot to count until I feel my area is fully worked out. Let's talk about how you should feel after a good exercise. After a successful exercise, you should feel a kind of tingling or numbness sensation at the toe or front half of the behind foot under the straightened knee. If you feel that, I congratulate you because you just did a good exercise. That's why I suggested at least 40 or 50 times of this mini stretching, because I feel like it was a minimum number required for this tingling, numbing sensation. What if at the beginning you don't feel yet this kind of tingling sensation? Doesn't really matter. As long as problem area is fully worked out, that's fine too. Again, the knee in front can be bent a little, but the knee behind must be straight. And the shift of the body weight should be on the behind leg. And sometimes you may lose the balance for a second. That's very normal. Because in exercise, your 2 feet are close to each other, and you need to shift your center of your body weight. Then you may lose the balance. That's quite normal. I lose my balance sometimes too. After exercising this side, continue with the other side. Keeping balance is always good. Now continue with the part 2. Part 2 is very much the same as the 2014's video. We do like this. Let's do 50 push-ups. I'm just kidding. You don't need to do push-ups. I do it, but not for Piriformis Syndrome. Instead, we pray. We pray for a healthy hip. Again, I'm just kidding. Okay. If I want to practice this side, I will turn my upper body to the opposite side to intentionally feel the expansion from the leg to the waist. As to the turning angle, it's entirely up to you for you to find out. Then, slowly, I lift up my hip to the highest point and hold there. Intentionally feel the expansion of this imaginary nerve line. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Getting up slowly. You may feel a little dizzy. That's very normal. After this side, continue with the other side. Keeping balance is always good. Again, you can keep your hip at the highest point for a while to feel the expansion. That's it. One of the most frequently asked questions is, how many times should I exercise per day and how many minutes per exercise? Well, regarding the time and the locations of the exercise can be very flexible and at your convenience. It can be as short as 2 or 3 minutes. As to the location, can be in the office when you're alone or even in the restroom. You just need a space big as this. As a reference, I suggest twice a day. More the better, of course. Once in the morning after getting up, and once in the evening before going to bed, with empty stomach and fresh mind. As to how many minutes per exercise, 10 minutes is enough. There is no need to exceed 15 minutes. I suggest to do 2 sets. Each set 50 to 80 mini stretches. If you feel like to do more, better. For the second part of the exercise, I also suggest for 2 sets, each set 10 hip lifts. How long does it take to achieve obvious benefit or get rid of the pain totally? Well, that really depends. You need to be sure the cause of the pain is Piriformis Syndrome, not something else. For example, herniated discs or slipped discs, which can also cause the similar sciatica pain. And secondly, has your condition been chronic or it was just a recent event? And thirdly, do you have some unhealthy habit which might be at first place the cause of your pain, and they may also undermine the effectiveness of your exercise? And importantly, it really matters how is your mind working when you are exercising. Have you been focusing on the right area when you are exercising? Okay, let me tell you something more definite. If your condition is caused by Piriformis Syndrome, and I would say likely the result of this exercise will be straightforward. It should be clear after the first exercise. I felt nothing or even more pain after the exercise. Should I continue? Well, in that case, be cautious. Maybe you shouldn't continue. Firstly, again, let's confirm the cause of your pain is Piriformis Syndrome. Secondly, if you have been trying hard, I suggest to try less hard. The essence of this exercise is not at all the force or how much you bend yourself. Rather, it's the repetition or repetitiveness. You must repeat enough number of the mini stretches, and sometimes the pain could be aggravated by the inflammation in act. In that case, you may consider to take some painkillers or even injection to reduce the pain. And meanwhile, if you still want to exercise, you may try it mildly with reservation to reach the balance point that not causing you more pain. Should I still continue the exercise when the pain is totally gone and you yourself are supposed to be totally recovered? And why are you still exercising? I'd like to bring in an analogy of catching a cold. You may have totally recovered from your previous flu or cold, but if you don't take care of yourself well and your immune system goes down again, and the cold, just like an unwelcomed guest, will visit you again. In my case, over the years, until now, I still sit in front of the PC daily for many hours. And just because of the daily minutes of the exercise, Mr. Piriformis never bothered me for all these years. I admit sometimes I can hear its footsteps is closing to my door. Then I just exercise more, then I can hear the footsteps went away. My scanning imagery shows I have slipped discs. Can I try this exercise? Again, that depends from the comments I have received from the audience. Some people who had got significant improvement after the exercise were having the condition of slipped discs. But there's also one case. The audience said he got actually worse without realizing his condition was actually slipped discs. 10 or 12 years back, my scanning imagery also showed I had slipped discs. And the first doctors I visited all diagnosed that my pain was caused by that. They suggested to start with physiotherapy, and if the pain was severe enough that have an impact on my life, then the only solution is the operation. And I almost went for the surgery. And just when I registered myself as an operation patient, finally I met a real experienced spine doctor who took a quick glance at my scanning imagery, then asked me to lie down, and he did some twisting, bending, and stretching test. Then he told me, your problem was not slipped discs. The surgery won't help. Your problem is Piriformis Syndrome. That is the first time in my life I heard this name. But unfortunately, he couldn't provide the final solution. And the final solution was accidentally found by myself, my stretch. So you see, it's really tricky to decide your pain is really caused by the slipped discs. And my guess is, after reaching a certain age, many people, if they go for a checkout, their scanning image would show more or less some degree of slipped discs. And these people would never know if they don't go for the checkout. The key is to finding the real cause of your pain. You must visit a real experienced spine doctor. I should point out that if a doctor makes judgment on this case only based on MRI scanning imagery, then he's not a real doctor you are looking for. If it becomes clear that your problem is really caused by the slipped discs, then this exercise is not recommended for you because it may increase oppression caused by the discs to the passing nerve. My advice is an interesting question to think about. Why I got this problem and others don't? Okay, there are factors related with body fat, nutrition, psychological stress. But I think maybe in your daily work pattern, there are some unbalanced or unhealthy habits, be it long hours sitting in front of PC, in the oversoft couch, or wrong gesture of driving. Maybe they are the causes of your problem, and also while you are exercising, they are undermining the effectiveness of your exercise. Maybe we can do something about it. If you have to sit hours on end in front of the PC, maybe you can take a break every 30 minutes, and maybe you can also find a better chair for you, a chair with ergonomical features. And for some model, also equipped a small pad underneath, which you can put your legs on it. By doing that, the pressure to your hip caused by the weight of your upper body is largely shared by your lower back, and also by putting the legs on the extending pad, which provides a much more comfortable angle between your legs and your waist. Same with driving. Maybe you can also adjust your car seat. Intentionally lay back. Let your low back to share some weight of your upper body. Try to avoid sitting long hours on such big and oversoft couch. Because I think before you are aware, it may weaken your waist muscle and apply constant pressure on your hip muscle. And another tip, If you go to gym sometimes, try to look for this model of glute machine. In my opinion, it can provide very effective workout on your piriformis, almost as good as our exercise. Highly recommended. Okay, that's about it. That's what I wanted to share. And as always, your comments and questions are highly welcome. See you.